Hello and welcome, I'm Sean Fox, this is Made to Ramble and we are in Uruguay. This is Colonia del Sacramento. Just a short 2 or 3 hours via ferry across the Rio De La Plata brings us to the beautiful historical port city of Colonia del Sacramento. There's a beautifully well-maintained old quarter here that is well worth a visit. This historical section of Colonia, with its cobblestone streets, built by the Portuguese way back in the 17th century, is within an easy walking distance of the ferry terminal. So it could be worth doing just as a day trip from Buenos Aires. That said though, I'm happy to say we stayed there for a couple of days and would have happily stayed there longer had we had the time. The historic quarter of Colonia del Sacramento is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's not hard to understand why. Not only was the city once the home of a thriving port, but it's also a site of significant conflict back in the early 1700s, which is fairly evident from some of the ruins here. After only briefly exploring the historical section, we headed a little further into town in search of the old bullfighting ring. Along the way, we were surprised to find ourselves smack dab in the middle of some major sporting event. We had no idea what was going on. We could hear people listening to the radio while the race was being commentated, but we couldn't understand what it was, so we didn't even know it was cycling. Anyway, what we were really coming for is what's behind me. This is the Plaza de Toros, which is an old bullfighting ring. Unfortunately, the Plaza de Toros is closed, so there's not a whole lot to see there. One thing that's really surprised us since we got here to Uruguay, one thing we weren't aware of, is the sheer amount of marijuana usage here. Turns out it's completely legal to use it recreationally here, and you smell it everywhere you go. Yeah, one thing that I can certainly say for Colonia del Sacramento is that there's a very chilled, laid-back atmosphere there. I wonder if the marijuana has anything to do with that. It's worth climbing to the top of the lighthouse to check out some beautiful views. One of the things we're really excited about coming to Uruguay is the food, particularly this dish, which I think you'll agree with. This is called a chivito giganta, apparently. It looks like a lot of food. impossible. This is way too much food. I think I'm going to be terrified to weigh myself when we finally get back home. There's been a lot of food.